Ugh. I would take it off, but you do not want to see my hair right now. It's clean. Okay, this video is in response to me feeling like you don't want to own the consequences of your actions. I know it's uncomfortable, and I know it feels, I mean, I don't know how it feels for you, but I know it feels like I was just trying to hurt you or something. I know you're not going to like hearing this. I hope you will listen with an open mind and open heart and open ears and open brain and whatever there is to listen with. Open soul spark. Baby, I love you. I don't get it. I do not get it. I love you. And when you left, I expected, from all the times I'd forgotten my medication, I expected there to be more of a stockpile of my medication. And there wasn't. And I began to add it all up, how long I'd been going without my medication and how much you had used whenever you had needed it. And I had done my best not to begrudge you needing it, but I also knew that it was unhealthy. And you knew it, and you know it. But you also, your pain has always ruled. I don't know about always, but like, generally speaking, your pain rules you. And I get that now after the last 3 years. But we can't allow ourselves to remain that way. And anyway, sorry, everything I do sounds like a lecture. I don't mean to be that way. It's like a horrible trait I've had since I was a child. When I was 6 years old, it sounded like I was lecturing my stepmother. I remember clearly. Now that I understand it. This whole autism thing, I really wish we could get on the same page as with that. We're so similar and so different. I would love it if we could go through tons of psychological testing individually and collectively. Have a whole reality show dedicated to figuring out how to help us get safe with each other with our words and our views and our expressions of our feelings and everything. I mean, even then, anyway, whatever. So I shared what I shared with the blonde lady administrator out of being moved. You're not going to like this. You might not believe it. It's going to sound whatever. I felt moved by spirit. Now, I can't tell you 100% precisely what percentage of purity and what exact spirit I was moved by. Could anybody? No. They could, but would they really know what they were talking about? Could we confirm it? No. Please forgive me. I hate this. Like, this is it with you. It's like, you're the one who does worse stuff. But then I'm the one who owns and takes accountability more. So then I'm the one who ends up asking for your forgiveness when you're the one who really ought to be asking for mine. It's so wild. I mean, you're really good at apologizing, and I believe you're sincere so often, which, you know, is either going to be to my eternal glory or absolute doom and detriment. Which, I mean, those are strong words, just like the parasite was a strong word. When I'm just thinking of parasite and symbiotic, you know, parasitic or symbiotic relationships and trying to figure out what's really happening. And then when I think, you know, to my doom and detriment, I don't know how to explain it. It just, yeah, it does. It sounds melodramatic. Earlier, you know, I mean, you expressed that I'm extreme, and man, if you had been in my body, if you'd felt what I felt. Anyway, I also just, in the conversation, like, I just, things more came out. You know, I had no intention when I called of sharing what I shared. You've got to, that's like a main thing that gets in between us, is you have this idea that I start out with certain intentions, or that because I end up not sorry about certain things, that somehow means I did it on purpose. Like I had the intention to, you know, harm or whatever. Like my intention was just to separate our HIPAA so that you had no option of further causing yourself harm, whether intentional or not. You know, what if you were just extra desperate and in a lot of pain, and you ended up back in Utah, and you ended up back at some shelter, and you ended up back at Sacred Circle, and you just said whatever you needed to say. Like, these are not unreasonable thoughts that I had, considering how you've been, you know, and considering the ways that I've been willing to cover for you and allow, you know, shady shit to fly. And that's not my style. And I don't want to be that person. Like, do I want to honor and respect and support and cover for my husband to a point? Yes. Do I want to lose my own integrity? No. Was I losing my own integrity? Yes. You know, am I willing to do that in the future? No. Was it doing you any good? It wasn't going to if I continued. I don't know. You may not even know. You get to choose from this point forward whether it will do you good. But like, so yeah, like, please know that I had no intention of sharing everything that I shared. I was a sobbing mess. Can you not get that part? Like, I was a sobbing mess. I was a wreck. And I had felt for days that I was supposed to call Sacred Circle and separate our HIPAA. And just make sure that I take the name of my, you know, the power in my name and prescription and integrity and honor and whatever, you know, that I don't inadvertently, unintentionally leave a door window open away for you. You know, that if you slipped in some swampy, mucky, shitty shit and ended up back in that space and you were there, come on now. Admit it to yourself that you would go in and you would talk to Gary and you would say whatever you needed to say to get whatever you needed to get out of pain. Like, period. If you had not enough support. I mean, I was very concerned. I was very concerned for you, and I wanted to take my power back. Did that fuck things over so that you can't go back there and there's more of a record there? Yes. Am I sorry? You're not going to like this. I'm 15% sorry. And I'm 85% not sorry. Now, I could sit there and I could do the math, and if you would like, and I have the time and capacity and a day when I'm fed and whatever else. I mean, I'm mostly getting fed. It's fine. But, you know, this is what's happened in all of my life across the board. You know, people have their own needs to attend to, and y'all's priorities go where it goes, where you take care of your own needs first and foremost and above, and I slipped through the cracks. Which was why I never was going to move back here unless it was with you and we were strong enough, And I actually planned on leaving originally. I was going to leave and go to a domestic violence shelter and then let them, figure out how to help you. And I was going to talk to you on the phone and I was going to work everything out. We weren't going to have to do a restraining order and it was going to be completely different. But I allowed Chris and Nina's mothering instinct, where she didn't want me to leave. She's like, you've been displaced enough, and it's always because men make poor choices. And you're the one who suffers the consequence. And I'm not letting that happen this time. And, I was honoring my promise. I didn't honor my promise. I was going to call the police if you did that a second time, even though I told you I would. But I honored my promise. I mean, I am honoring it by talking about it. I didn't keep the promise, but I'm honoring it. But I did keep the promise where I told you I would not be silent. I've already had a man's hands around my neck in a non-consensual, very unpleasant way. And I don't like it. I never have and I never will. God, I love you. You're such an arrogant... It's like you say you don't want to be called names, but then like what? What? You're such an arrogant Joey. And then even calling you arrogant, sometimes that would be a name. Like if you don't see it in yourself, if you don't already own it, acknowledge it, honor it, it doesn't even exist in your world. Which you show me that I'm that way in certain areas too. So it's hard because it's very new when you all of a sudden see areas that you are blind or dumb or deaf, It's like, I mean, thank God for the atonement, right? Like, thank God for the atonement. Thank, Yeshua, Jesus Christ. I don't know exactly, but yeah, just Jesus Christ is a very harsh. It's definitely, that's not a Hebrew name for sure, but I can't remember the details. I wish I had someone tell me the details. Okay, 14 minutes. Okay, so I gotta wrap this up. So, am I sharing this to defend myself and ask for forgiveness? Yes. Does it annoy me that I ask you to forgive me when you don't even truly know how to... Well, that's harsh. That's harsh. Considering everything that was said, it's hard for me to process it all, especially with the ending. It's like you always want more, and you want things to go well, but like, honey, you got to learn how to surf the waves of, the ebb and the flow of like feelings and humanity. Like, you are a human too. I'm not the only one that's like extreme and melodramatic and whatever. I mean, I am 15% sorry. I'm 15% very powerful sorry. But the 85% not sorry is because what can I say? I spent a lot of time thinking about it, praying about it, thinking about it, praying about it, thinking about it, praying about it, thinking about it, praying about it. I mean, I pondered and pondered. I really considered deeply if I needed to call them. And I did. Like, Sacred Circle needed to know for my sake. And I need you to get to a place where you can honor and respect that. Because the consequences of your actions, you act like I have power and control over stopping the consequences of your actions. Just because you put your hands around my throat, and then you act as if like I shouldn't have told anyone. I mean, you're not acting like that anymore, but who knows what your subconscious thoughts are, your unconscious thoughts are. That's why it's so important that you embody all this stuff you talk about, babe, It's like that Tool song or whatever. It's Tool or Pussifer or A Perfect Circle, but it's talk, Walk like Jesus or get the fuck out of my way. Well, I'm trying to walk like Jesus. Like, I can't exactly, but there are footprints in the fucking sand, and sometimes they just randomly show up and you just follow them. And I'm not saying Jesus told me to call and tell the blonde administrator lady at Sacred Circle that you had abused our relationship and the relationship I had with my own medications. I just was going to separate the hip up, but then she was so compassionate and she was so apologetic and she was so understanding and she was so like, you got to take care of yourself. And I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I was saying it the way I was saying it with like just trying to remember facts, trying to remember what she said, not how she said it. But you got to understand, like, I was a wreck and I miss you so much. And it felt so unhealthy to miss you so much, And this is before I even saw the video with your hands, with the bruises. Like, this is, like, you have no idea what you did to me. And you're totally acting like every, I'm not going to finish that sentence because you'll take it away. That is understandable. It's not, accurate, legit, on target, precise, but it's understandable, would be valid. So that sentence goes by the wayside, and I'm capable of doing that, which is great. 3 years ago, whatever event occurred that me and Dr. Ko think was a stroke, and Dr. Smith was wise enough to not say anything, even Dr. Ko afterwards, like, oh, I could get in trouble. Whatever happened, it really messed with my brain, and I believe it was a good thing that was almost inevitable and what's going to happen. The more I look at my history and physical, I put the patterns together. Baby, I'm doing everything I can to forgive you. I've been doing everything I can to forgive you, and you were hurting me long before I dropped the bag on your back, and I was 15% sorry and 85% not sorry. Because of what led up to it. Well, it's the same with this, because of what led up to it. And to some, that could be a justification, and maybe it is. And someday I'll look back at this and realize I was, deluding myself. But I don't, oh shit, it was 19 minutes. This isn't gonna work. I have to stop it.